Welcome to my channel, to all my fantastic friends. What really happened in the moon? In this video, I'm gonna show you different drawings or psychographies that Parravicini drew about the moon. During the Apollo 11 interview, it was easy to see an air of sadness around the astronauts. And I don't think it had anything to do with the fact that if they make it to the moon or not. But I think there is a real compelling evidence that they did make it to the moon. But unfortunately, the video presented to the public was a remake on a set. And it's clearly to see that they were factors that they couldn't publicize the real moon landing. Maybe it was due to some serious threats or something way far more spooky and terrifying that completely shut down the astronauts from telling the truth, afraid that will scare the public. So as we're going to analyze and maybe rethink of what really happened in the moon, I truly believe it will be a wise idea to take in consideration the truly astonishing work of perhaps one of the most and best prophets of the world mankind have by far, which is Benjamin Solari Parravicini. So as we see that he's been 100% right so far and truly accurate, which is a bit concerning since everything he wrote and drew is becoming true. So you need to see my past videos so you get the overall picture and you understand what I'm talking about. So as we see here that he wrote about the moon way before that event happened. And it reads as follows: men will reach the moon. It will be in it without being. They will listen without listening. They will return without returning. Watch out. Prophecy of 1940. As we see here that the race to the moon was done during the 60s, exactly at 1969. And Parravicini spoke about it in 1940s. So that's insane, as they didn't have a lot of TVs back in the days during that time. By the looks, it looks like Parravicini was warning the astronauts even before they went to the moon, as warnings for them and telling them to watch out for something dangerous out there. As we see in his next drawing, as he wrote about it, extraterrestrial beings will watch over the inhabited needles in sidereal journeys, will kidnap and scare them. They, in return, will shut up. As we see here that, in fact, this is completely accurate since astronauts never spoke about anything else besides their standard mission. So, and it's easy to see the way they reacted as they came back. So definitely they encountered something out of this world. As we read the next psychography, torture will be the spaceman in the 70s. Benjamin Solari, Parravicini, 1938. As you can see, even in the psychography, he drew Neil Armstrong and it says AM. So I guess that would be for Armstrong. So that's pretty explicit as well as pretty mind-blowing because that was insane just to put that. And Parravicini is very clear and also kind of famous for drawing in his pictures little details that gives clues to what happened. So it's kind of shocking. Even in the last psychography, you can see clearly kind of like a guy being tortured by somebody in the back. So try to zoom it in and check it out. As we read the next psychography, the defeated astronaut will say and will scare. So as you can see, Parravicini even drew the astronauts being kind of like coming back depressed, as you can see in the video they did before, which correlates with the drawing that Parravicini did in 1938, which is kind of insane since they came back in 69. So as we're gonna see the video coming up that was not made to the public and also describes how the astronauts saw something that they didn't tell the public, as they seem to be describing what they saw. So check it out and let me know.
Of the built structures. According to Otto Binder, an ex-NASA employee, the secret transmission channel was censored by NASA, but he had heard astronauts report huge alien spacecrafts parked on the lunar surface at the center of the Sea of Tranquility, which had been selected for the Apollo 11 landing. He recalled this transmission.
"These babies are huge, sir. Enormous. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe it. I'm telling you, there are other spacecraft out there, lined up on the far side of the crater edge. They're on the moon watching us."
This was later confirmed by another ex-NASA employee with high-level skills and clearance called Maurice Chatelain, who, in his 1978 book, documented that 2 alien craft were hovering and others lined up behind a crater observing Neil Armstrong's historic moonwalk. Chatelain made the claim that all Apollo and Gemini flights were followed, both at a distance and sometimes also quite closely, by space vehicles of extraterrestrial origin, flying saucers, or UFOs, if you want to call them by that name. Every time it occurred, the astronauts informed Mission Control, who then ordered absolute silence. It is believed in the UFO community that former astronauts would like to say more, but face a treason charge if they do.
Sorry to cut up the video like that, but you can check this video in the internet. I can place a whole video due to copyrights, but it's pretty clear that the astronauts saw something they didn't tell the public. It's clearly to see that they were silenced by someone who didn't have the best interest for humanity. We have to be aware about the duality we have in the universe. We need to be aware and know that there is also a dark force, which is extraterrestrial as well. Also, there is another force which is benevolent and loving. This force goes as well in humans and intensifies as we reach higher frequencies. Unfortunately, the man of Earth is in the middle of these 2 forces, with the unfortunate situation of not fully knowing either of the 2. But Parravicini seems to really identify this force, which 99.9 of humans doesn't. Unfortunately, we are pretty blind to see it due to our lack of knowledge. Most people don't know that these forces are extraterrestrial. Because believe it or not, there is plenty of people that still believe that they are the only ones alone in the universe, which at this point is kind of ridiculous. So Parravicini identifies both of them fully, and the human being is in the middle, doesn't because we are confused because the dark force disguises itself as good, since they are experts on pretending they are good when it's not the case. Luckily for us, we have also the life force, which are known for bringing knowledge and wisdom throughout millennia. As this might sound like a science fiction movie from the Star Wars collection's movie set, but it's definitely a reality we have to check for ourselves so we don't get caught by surprise, which is the thing that I believe happened to the astronauts. Because according to a few contactees, there is different areas outside the moon, which is divided in different sections between the good guys and the bad guys. So I think they landed in the wrong side of the moon, which is the evil part. And they got tortured, so that says a lot. As famous contactee Alberto Sequa, who claimed that people from space, star people from Andromeda, they spoke to him, and in fact, they indeed confirmed that humans in fact went to the moon. That indeed was completely real. But the Americans weren't the first. The Andromedans clarified that the Russians in fact were the first reaching the moon, but they didn't claim it since the astronauts didn't make it back to Earth and got strangled in space. And they didn't want to look or be perceived as a failure, so that's why the Russians didn't say anything. At this point, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter who make it to the moon first, the Russians or the Americans. We need to realize we cannot take our primitive mindset outside our planet and claim ownership of anything we see. It's pretty obvious that we have not learned to share and just want to claim ownership at anything that moves or seems unreachable. That's not the way it's going to work out there. No wonder why we didn't make it back and some of the astronauts got tortured. As famous contactee Alberto Sequa, who passed away recently, spoke about the Andromedans telling him that the reason they didn't came back to the moon is because the extraterrestrials kicked them out because apparently they were trying to nuke the moon just to see and check it out if it make a sound and to see if it was in fact hollow. They just wanted to check it out if the moon was hollow and how long the sun will last. So that's why I think maybe even benevolent cosmic extraterrestrials they kicked them out too because they're bellic and completely dangerous. Reason why we weren't allowed back into the moon. I believe maybe that's a high possibility and probably the most accurate one. Since Alberto Secua was one of the most credible contactees in the UFO Spanish community. Also, Secua had a knowledge of this race, the new race that was going to be among us way before Timothy Wood spoke about it in a video you're gonna see right now.
Why is this tissue being taken?
I would think something to do with DNA because I have been reliably informed by a Washington source that there is a hybridization program in process. A group of aliens plan to produce hybrids, combination of human beings and their own beings. If what I've learned is true, there is an intention on the part of these hybridizing species to take over the planet.
Wow. So this hybrid program that's going on, where is it going on? Because I can't see it.
There are huge underground bases under our oceans and underground in various countries.
Do you think it's because this race of aliens can't live on this planet?
That's what I have been told in Washington. The aliens have apparently created a hybridized species so that they can survive much better on the surface of this planet than hunkered down in their alien bases.
So Tim, is it possible that there are hybrids walking down the streets of this town today?
Definitely.
Do you think this hybrid program could possibly have benefits for the human race? Could this be the next stage in our evolution?
Goodness knows what that could mean. Are we going to have thousands of aliens trying to be in charge of our planet? I don't know.
Who knows about it? Does my Prime Minister know about it? Does the American President know about it?
If there was one Prime Minister, I would say Margaret Thatcher, because she got to know Reagan very well, and Reagan himself had been briefed on the alien situation, and I'm quite sure that he would have discussed it with Margaret Thatcher. There's no question that a number of people have been very well informed.
Why do you think certain parties would want to keep this secret?
Because it's too shocking.
What's shocking about it?
What, the fact that there's a race of beings trying to take over this planet? Yeah. I think a lot of people would find that quite disturbing.
As we saw in this video, there is definitely an agenda for humanity, which majority of people aren't aware, as we see in this other moon video. Check it out and let me know, which seem to be very real. As we continue with the moon and different findings, we find that also Parravicini spoke about different situations about the moon, as we're gonna read. As he wrote as follow: the lunar crater of the 7 circular steps will reveal to man his secret. Benjamin Solari Parravicini. Prophecy of 1938. It seems to me that this crater has something extremely important for humanity. Maybe we should start checking it out, just in case. So as we read the next psychography, rising up, man will believe that he will reach the planets. It will not arrive without arriving, and it will be a victim of its ambition. Benjamin Solari Parravicini. Prophecy of 1938. In this psychography and also the other ones, I believe he's mentioning that men will think reached the moon and Mars. But according to extraterrestrials, the Earth was selected along with 7 other planets to carry out a very special project called the Cosmic Plan. They say that our planet died 1.2 million years ago as a result of the impact of meteoric rain that not only extinguished the life of the planet, the air was made into smash dust and completely disappeared around 1.2 million years ago. And the extraterrestrials explained that they came back before that event happened, bending time and space, therefore creating a time paradox, which is a different time from the real universe. So Parravicini knew this, and also as the astronauts goes to the moon and maybe Mars, we find that they are watching, humans are watching by 3D standards, but in reality, the universe is running in a different frequency. So that's why we see the planets empty. But in reality, there is more that meets the eye. So as we continue with Parravicini and the moon findings, his next psychography reads as follows. Remains of disabled satellites rotate on Earth. Satellites, extraterrestrial laboratories, and human bodies, victims of secret tests, along with laboratory waste that will be changed after the test. The needles of the earth are in danger. Benjamin Solari Parravicini, 1960. As we read the next psychography, and it reads as follows. The human shipbuilder will fight with the adverse astral shipbuilder. The flying needles of America and Russia will fall and roll. They will fall without clarifying why. Nothing will be in missed time because the time is not yet. Terrestrial astronauts will be captured in the high ground by decay. They will be investigated. Not all will be returned. Prophecy of Benjamin Solari Parravicini, 1960. I must say this. How in here Parravicini really summarized all the space concerns. And actually he is like extremely accurate, and I can't believe a lot of people don't know about him and are completely clueless and really underestimate his work. It's just unbelievable at this point. So in this psychography explains about what the astronauts encounter and even goes to the length of telling the name of the ones who interrogated the human astronauts. I believe their name was K. So maybe they are the ones from the planet K, or could be the cross. In another video, I'm gonna talk about the different extraterrestrial races who are here watching us from another star systems and realities. But in fact, they've been here longer than us, so pretty much humans. We are the extraterrestrials because they've been longer than us in this planet, as they are the seeders. So as we continue to read Parravicini and the moon. Sorry, I forgot to mention that Parravicini also spoke about the rockets, or the different rockets that fall down from the Russian and American shuttles. He spoke about the Columbia shuttle in 1960, so it's pretty mind-blowing. As we continue with Parravicini and his psychographies, and it reads as follows. The obelisk of the moon will speak one day and shatter the voice of men. Benjamin Solari Parravicini, Prophecy of 1972. As we read the next one, the moon will say of beings that were there and are. It will say of its blue light. Benjamin Solari Parravicini, Prophecy of 1972. Definitely in here, he's talking about special beings that are amazing and truly fantastic. As we continue to read about Parravicini, and he speak about woman going into space, as he reads as follows: Shipping woman in space. Benjamin Solari Parravicini. And the next one reads as follows: The astronaut will be punished for his astral blindness. The woman astronaut will be awarded with the astral light, but the day of the burning flame is coming, and they should have known to know how to see that instant and save. Benjamin Solari Parravicini, 1960. In here is definitely we can see that the extraterrestrials were trying to warn the astronauts about a major threat that will be very dangerous to our planet Earth. And I guess the astronauts didn't pay attention and decided to ignore it. So as we continue to read, the astronaut woman will be able to pick up beans and things that were left in the test at those heights. The men on them made a circus and left what they shouldn't have lost. The shipping woman will vindicate. Year 1967. Benjamin Solari Parravicini. I believe in here there's gonna be an astronaut woman that maybe in the future will do something that the main astronauts didn't do, as we read the next psychography. 9K. The astral traveler will see the light in its fairness and will tell the lunar truth that men saw without seeing, nor did they speak. She arrives, and she will take two sides to the heights, and she will know about God, because she will carry him on earth. Because she is in the heights, he saw the Lord. Benjamin Solari Parravicini, 1962. In here, I'm gonna place a video that will speak about last psychographies that Parravicini wrote about, including this blue light the astronauts saw. That Parravicini spoke about it even before the astronauts went to the moon, which definitely confirms the level of accuracy Parravicini has. Check it out. It's different videos combined. So, but describes exactly about the last three psychographies. Check it out.
And when I finally got to go out the door, that was something different too. And I figured that would never happen without the preparation we had training the team. And so I'd like.
What's going on right now? When we landed on the moon, there was around that crater above where we landed, there were multiple ET craft that were just hovering there watching.
Yo,
And that is true. That's 100% true.
Whoa, hold the phone.
This ain't good.
Whoa.
Or maybe it is.
They're just checking them out.
Yep.
Like an audience.
They were going, that's interesting. These guys are up here, and it's like 1969. The Cold War is going on, and the Apollo mission was a militarized operation competing with the Soviet Union. So we were viewed as trying to go into space in a divisive and war-making way. I mean, the space program ostensibly was civilian, but it was really a proxy for the Cold War. That's the truth.
Right. So you're telling me when Buzz Aldrin stepped on the moon, he saw 5 extraterrestrial aircrafts.
Well, I think there were more than that. I think
just watching him take his first step on the moon.
Well, actually, Neil Armstrong was the first.
No, his first step. By the way,
watched him Buzz take his first step.
Yes, Buzz Aldrin was second. My uncle was involved with that because he helped design the lunar module that carried them there. But that footage, highly classified. They say they've lost it. NASA, did you see that in the news not long ago? We lost the original footage from the moon landing. I mean, the most important event in the history of mankind. We just lost it. My dog ate the homework.
60 seconds. I saw this illumination that was moving with respect to the stars. We were smart enough to not say, Houston, there's a light out there that's following us.
In some of these photos, we can see a distinct blue glowing UFO sitting in the dark skies in the distance.
We continue with Parravicini and the moon landing as it reads as follows. The world will be impressioned by the desire for space conquest. The men will come up. High phenomena will be discovered. They will speak more of the truth and will be punished. The moon will be a gold. Mars will be a gold. But they will be ghosts, not touched, until the end of the century. Men will not see the interplanetary being and will despise him, and even more will deny him. The world will then be confused in extreme struggles. Hunger will fall in the West. The East will not learn and will fall into hunger. Argentina, if it's safe in time, will save. Argentina will suffer in a small way what the world will suffer later. Argentina will be light. Prophecy of Benjamin Solari Parravicini, 1938, from the Knowledge magazine, The New Age of 1967. As we continue with the moon findings, the next psychography reads as follows. The moon rocket will see new vibrations of danger on its journey, but its weapon will be able to push away the imprisoning glacial atmosphere. We'll see the arise coming of the mooners, but nothing will be in to answer. The mooners exist. Denying it will be useless. It will be known and it will be on the test before 2002. Year 1967. Benjamin Solari Parravicini. I guess in here Parravicini is really remarking about the intense denial of our cosmic friends being around the moon and everywhere else. In the end, the truth will for sure be known as we read the next psychography. The human being has reached the moon, but he has not yet reached his being. An unknown and unexplored field is man. He must reach it. Man climbs towards the universe without knowing the universe that he encloses in himself. The eternal vital is still a mystery. Man will reveal him one day. Then he will be. The man runs towards meeting of his inner strength, the one that still prevails in power when in his unknown self. He marches without knowing that he marches. He will know without knowing. He will know and will be. Benjamin Solari Parravicini. I guess in this psychography, as far as we see, men indeed went to the moon and perhaps will travel to Mars. But the most crucial thing, which is the most important thing to notice here, meaning for all humanity, which is this. Going to space won't do any good for humanity when the reality of the planet we live is on the verge of collapse, meaning nature and pollution, and the weapons the elites are creating, which could destroy our planet. While the elites talk about going to space, most of 99.9% of people of this planet are talking about being barely even able to eat. And pretty much some struggle to pay bills and also are having a hard time keeping up with heating bills. So going to the moon is not going to solve our planet problems. That's definitely not going to help humanity. We are here for a reason. Going to colonize the moon or different planets won't solve our problems at all. But if we take a time to find our inner voice that is within us, an interior transformation will occur. Men going to the moon doesn't resolve our problems, intellectual, material, or spiritual issues, which Parravicini points out that man has gone to the moon, but hasn't been capable of finding himself, since he doesn't know himself. And we need to start realizing that what will help man to perceive himself in eternity will be what he discovers about himself as we evolve, but not before finding ourselves, our inner self, since we are spiritual beings. As we see governments around the globe wasting money and resources on insane weapons that could put this planet in real danger. Unfortunately and sadly, we are allowing these clown leaders doing that. Well, the reckless spending is being directed somewhere else, which is a nonsense, which is weapons and stuff to create to exterminate humanity. That's all it is. It's about population reduction. So we see here that going to the moon is not going to solve our problems. In fact, making a spiritual growth will be most beneficial for humanity, since we can achieve and change the problems we have in this planet by changing ourselves first, individually, and also by being more spiritual. Meaning having more love and comprehension for others, not by only crossing the legs and thinking blank. That's not spiritual at all. I mean, it helps to meditate, but if I gonna be sitting on my ass for 4 hours thinking blank while I can help somebody that needs help, will be more productive and spiritual as well. For all the moon gazers out there, this video has come to an end. But before saying goodbye, I would like to read another psychography of Parravicini about a reflection we should do. And it says as follows: Walker, continue your walk, your saying, your singing, your praying, your love to your neighbor, to your family, to a friend in need, to whom will arrive at your doors, even if it's unpleasant. Walker, stretch out your hand, your teaching, your messages, your diary, because it is the hour of darkness. Deliver our light, deliver our peace. Benjamin Solari Parravicini. This psychography didn't have a date, but it's a beautiful message, and you can see the drawing shows somebody that is indeed connected with Christ in his heart. So thank you for watching and reporting live from headquarters. So see you next time. Smell you later, my friends.